Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this webinar on post-COVID agriculture series hosted by Ray Consulting in the series of Ray Talks. Today, we have a distinguished panel discussing on role of BioAgri inputs in sustainable agriculture. We thank for the overwhelming response with such a short notice. We have got registrations, audience who have logged in from across the globe, not just India. That shows this topic is of so much significance, not just for India, but across the globe. So let's speak why this talk series. This talk series has come through us so that the world gets to hear too the leaders in their expertise fields. Today, we have two occasions, I would say. Not only this is an occasion to hear the doyens of BioAg inputs industry, but also they are the office bearers of a very strong association called BioAgri Inputs Producers Association, acronymed as BIPA, B-I-P-A. We were honored to launch the renewed website a couple of days ago. I will introduce to my co-panelists. To begin with, President of BIPA, Dr. K.R.K. Reddy, is the Managing Director of Sri Bioaesthetics. Earlier, he had a huge stint of his own company, did very well, and sold it to another company, Sri Bioorganics. Followed by Dr. Venkatesh Devanur, Globetrotter. He is the MD and CEO of Agri Life and Phytopharma. A very well traveled person, doesn't miss any conference in the world on BioAgri inputs, highly energetic. We have Vice President BIPA, Dr. John Peter, who is the Chairman and Managing Director of Varsha Biosciences and Technology, and of course a current scientist, but ex-scientist at ICRISAT, and he's got so many laurels and awards to his credit. We have Vice President BIPA, Laxminarayana. He is the Managing Director and founder of AG Biosystems. They are the world's top manufacturers, exporters of remote, and he has come out with something very interesting on bioherbicides. We have treasurer with us, incidentally, Dr. Mohan, Group Chairman of Pasura. He is the treasurer of BIPA. He has got several companies under his fold, Pasura, Coromandel, Dhana. Incidentally, he couldn't join us, but I'm still expecting he will hopefully join in next few minutes. He's stuck somewhere, he is not with the internet or something like that. And also a little sunstroke. We have Joint Secretary, BIPA, Dr. Sudha Reddy, Managing Director of KN Biosciences. Very dynamic, very visionary, gusting to do different things. And she has been very successful in her entrepreneurial journey and looking forward for her huge growth plans. We have Mr. Srinivas, Director from Agastya Agroscience, Joint Secretary of BIPA. Sorry, not agroscience, Agastya Agrochemicals. Now with this panel, we would be discussing what BioAgri Inputs is all about. We, Ray Consulting along with BIPA, we look forward to bring several more webinars on each subject individually. But to begin with today, we would like to give a capsule on BioAgri Inputs encompassing entire agri value chain. These are my panelists. Now coming to Ray Consulting, Ray Consulting operates from Hyderabad, that's in India, and it was formed about a decade ago to strengthen clients' core competencies in agri and allied sciences, allied sectors. We list consulting need areas of the organizations, understanding their business health. We have expertise in entire agri value chain, whether it's investments, seeds, agchem, nutrients, PGPRs, or like BioAgri Inputs now. We serve clients in Southeast Asia, India, and Middle East. We consult on strategy, business plans, business due diligence, technical expertise, market research, regulatory affairs, product registrations. We help setting up manufacturing plants, greenfield projects. Currently, we are setting up 2 of them. And we are into B2B and alliances across the globe. We had successfully conducted 2 conferences in the recent past. One on Agribusiness Summit last April 2019. This April's summit had to be postponed. Hopefully it will be on 9th September. We had Digital Ag India conference in February, where both the conferences were very well received across the globe, and we have brought on the reports for the same. We are collaborated with NIAM Jaipur, ICRISAT, and ISB, Indian School of Business. Hence, our partnership reaches across the world. In my individual capacity, I facilitate board meetings, strategy meets. I advise investors who want to put in their money in ag field in India. Just on education front, I hold a business management from XLRI, Jamshedpur, basic agriculture from APU, Hyderabad, and MS Agriculture from Pantnagar University. I have served the industry for more than 30 years. Companies like Rallis, Tata Chemicals, Cheminova, now FMC, PI Industries, and Nagarjuna. About a decade ago, we started this company called Venkata. We have a full house of participants. I take over the webinar series of great talks. Hear from the leaders. Now let's hear from the leaders. Since we mentioned this webinar is going to be on a BioAgri Inputs value chain, let's listen from the speakers what they have to express. Each one of you would be interacted. To begin with, I'd like to start with Dr. John Peter. Dr. John, you've been in this industry for very long, and you've been not just a commercial manufacturer, marketer, or sales of these products, but you are an institution by itself. You have your own research institution. You have tie-ups with many universities, institutions, and governments. I would like to understand from you how and why you feel that BioAgri Inputs have a scope or a place in sustainable agriculture. Why should BioAgri Inputs be part of the sustainable agriculture? Dr. John.
Thank you very much, Raj, and the other panel members. Good evening, all the participants, both from the industry as well as from the farming community. Since the participants are going to be both technical and non-technical, I just want to make it very simple. My talk, I want to make it very simple. So I am going to talk about role of agri bio inputs for sustainable agriculture. What is the overall scenario? So for that, I just want to define what is BioAgri inputs. So any product obtained from biological and natural mineral resources, I consider that as BioAgri inputs. There are the formulations either from the plant origin, animal or microbials, organic or inorganic derivatives or natural minerals. So the entire gamut of BioAgri input is consisting of biostimulants, biofertilizers, and biopesticides. And in some countries, they are also called as soil conditioners. There are different definitions. And I'm going to restrict with biostimulants, biofertilizers, and biopesticides. Among biostimulants, plant growth promoters, and biofertilizers. These two are the major formulations that are available. Some countries, they refer biofertilizer as soil conditioner, and especially Europe and the US, the biofertilizer also they are referring right now as biostimulants. There is it is little difficult to demarcate between the biostimulant and biofertilizer. Still, for the convenience, we make it as biostimulant with the plant growth promoter and the biofertilizers and or the soil conditioners. And we also have biopesticides. They are biofungicides, bioinsecticides, and bionematicides. And why there is a global interest on BioAgri input. So biostimulant market in 2019 is considered around 2.6 billion US dollar, and it is projected to be around 4.9 billion US dollar in 2025 at a compound annual growth rate of 11.5%. And in the same way, biopesticide also is having a market potential of 2.2 billion US dollar in 2019. It is projected to be around 3.3 billion in 2026 at 5% CAGR. Biofertilizer market in 2018 is around 1.34 billion US dollar and projected to be around 3.1 billion US dollar in 2026 at 11.3% CAGR. Roughly, altogether, the total BioAgri input market is considered to be around 6 to 6.5 billion US dollar. And among the biostimulant regional market share, when you consider the biostimulant regional market share, Europe is occupying the major share of 35%, North America 23%, and Asia Pacific 22%, and Latin America 18%. The projected global biostimulant product line for the year 2020 is seaweed is around 37%, amino acid is 32%, humic substances complex is 19%, and microbial is roughly around 10%. And as far as the biofertilizer is concerned, China and India have become the pioneers in biofertilizer guidelines and regulations. And they are occupying the major share in Asia Pacific, and mainly China occupies about 46% of the total biofertilizer market in Asia Pacific. Biopesticide market share also varies from continent to continent. Asia Pacific it is 30%, Latin America occupies about 24%, European Union 22%, USA, Canada, and Mexico combined together, they are 20%. Importantly, globally, all the multinationals, important companies, they are acquiring. I don't want to name any of the companies here. Major companies, especially agrochemical based companies, they are acquiring some of major biological companies around the globe, because the importance is multifolded. That is why the agrochemical companies are also focusing on biologicals and especially agri-bio input. And there are regulations. We have regulations for biopesticides and biofertilizers, and European Union also have regulated all of them under EPA. But for the biostimulants of late, the regulations, some of my colleagues will be talking about that, and why the BioAgri input are becoming important for sustainable agriculture. I just want to share some of the important notes on why they are becoming very important for sustainable agriculture. There is a ever increasing consumer awareness about the green products, and also they wanted to consume toxic-free residue toxic-free residue food material. So there is a tremendous pressure on organic agriculture and their produce. Roughly about 12 to 17% of growth is estimated for organic agriculture across the globe. And out of that, 80 to 85% of the BioAgri inputs roughly considered to be green with no toxic residues. Especially very recently, European Union and other developed countries, they are constantly withdrawing class 1A and 1B, our red angle, so-called red angle, rhomboid toxic molecules, they are removing. And India also 2018, we have withdrawn about 18 pesticides. And very recent draft proposal indicating 27 pesticides. But when there is a replacement, there are no adequate replacement of toxic molecules with other newer molecules. So there is a tremendous pressure for the replacement among the Indian industry as well as globally. And we talk about IPM and INM, integrated pest management and integrated nutrient management. So BioAgri input is one of the best integrated nutrient management and integrated pest management program ingredient. How they are becoming important for sustainable agriculture? Say for example, globally for the nematode control, series of products like chlorpyrifos, carbofuran, forate, all those granules are in the other forms we have advocated for the nematode control. Now, one by one, all of these molecules are being weeded out. Now, there is a tremendous pressure and no effective pesticide molecule, cost-effective pesticide molecule is available for nematode control across the globe. So here, biopesticides are the bionematicide, the so-called bionematicide are coming very handy for the nematode control. They not only control the nematode, but they also prevent the further establishment of pathogenic fungi. So it is having a dual function. And say for example, root grab control in tough grass. All over Europe, the chlorpyrifos banned. So there is a sudden increase in the root grab management problem, and all the European Union are expecting an alternative molecule. Our metarhizium and Bavaria are going to be very successful in managing these problems. Coming back to the integrated nutrient management program, I personally found, because as a scientist, I'm an entomologist, I never had faith in biofertilizers unless I personally handled and popularized biofertilizers for the past 17 years. So these biofertilizers, especially thanks to Government of India, they have even permitted the combination of biofertilizers inclusive of N, P, K and K fixtures and or mobilizers. They are doing tremendous quality biofertilizers. They are the key right now, and several players are coming forward, especially VAM, mycorrhiza. It is also taking a major share in the biofertilizer sector. And more importantly, how and why this BioAgri input are important is they are also inducing the plant defense mechanism and making the crop sustainable to biotic and abiotic stresses. Say, for example, simple example I'll give you, global warming, when you consider there is 2.5 degree increase in the global temperature in the year 2050. It is estimated around 5.5 degrees centigrade in 2100. Where if the plants are going to sustain this increase and probiotics as well as the agri-bio input are going to play a major role. And as far as the natural biostimulant are concerned, European biostimulant industry consortia has estimated the nutrient uptake of 5 to 25% when we are applying the biofertilizer, and with an increase of 10% increase in yield. Say, for example, now there is a major problem of disease management in basmati rice because of the export rejection, as well as the tea pest management, where the quality tea is compelled to be produced, especially the Darjeeling tea, where the cost of production as well as the cost of Darjeeling tea is enormous. Now, from the African countries, the locusts are invading. All this can be managed by integrating the agri inputs. And coming back to the importance of sustainable agriculture, how they are becoming important. For example, Government of India has reduced the fertilizer subsidy from 3% to 2.1% of the total budget allotted from the year 2016-17 to 2020-21. Almost 1% of the total budget allocation is removed, subsidy is removed. So by this way, MOP, which was costing around 450 rupees in 2016, now it is costing around 950 rupees. And there are innumerable studies that if we are integrating biofertilizer with the chemical fertilizer, we can reduce 25% of 25% of chemical input. So we have experimentally proved in tea that we can reduce 25% of chemical fertilizer and save about 3,500 rupees to 6,000 rupees with the yield increase of 8% tea. There are 2-year study we have data, and it is the benefit is innumerable. So when MOP price is ever increasing, now the next DAP price will be increased. There is a compulsion for the farmer to look for the alternative. Way back 2003, when I started, I established a very big industry for exclusively biofertilizer, thinking that it is going to expand like anything. Now this is the time where India is going to pioneer in biofertilizer by integrating. But there are some bottlenecks that also I can address with few minutes of extension. And more importantly, when we are using biofertilizer, it also detox the soil and soil becoming responsive to the chemical fertilizers. And importantly, I will summarize again, there is a supply chain management problem in biofertilizer or any kind of bioagri input, because majority of the manufacturers are MSME, and we have limited supply chain management, and there is a corporate responsibility by the Indian corporates who can afford to penetrate the market, like how Kurkure and this Pepsi, Coke are penetrating in the village level. You can popularize. There is a corporate responsibility lying on our Indian corporates, as well as there is a responsibility from the government also to popularize this in a more aggressive way. It is also having export potency, and we need newer formulations of biostimulants and the combination biopesticides, which is lagging in our country. CABRC is permitting the combination pesticides, combination biopesticides yet to face some guidelines. So we look forward for the combination biopesticides, and state-wise marketing permission also is a big bottleneck for popularizing all these newer technologies, because it takes roughly around 3 months to 1 year. And even if the corporate come forward to popularize, the manufacturer has to take the permission as well as the corporate has to take the permission. That invariably delay the process up to 3 to 4 years. So there are some bottlenecks, and GST is the one best popular ease of doing business what I have seen so far. And similar strategy if the government formulate for free pesticide, fertilizer and agri bio input supply all over the country, like how the digital marketing is happening, and our penetration will be very fast. And the final one is, there is a best business opportunity for Indian corporate also for business as well as molecule integrations. Finally, agri-bio inputs are not a threat to conventional pesticide and fertilizers. They need to be integrated for sustainable agriculture. Hope the industry will look forward for strategic partners as well as integrate the newer molecules into the system and make India as well as the Indian agriculture sustainable. Thank you very much for the panel to give the opportunity, and all the viewers, thank you very much. Thank you. I leave it to Mr. Raj. Thank you.
Please unmute.
Thank you, Dr. John Peter. I think you have brought in the entire gamut into in such a short time. You have covered protectants, you have covered PGPRs, you have covered nematicides and nutrition, part of everything. I think if you look at it, BioAgri inputs, they are already a parallel to agrochemicals inputs. With the right direction, with the right inputs from various stakeholders, right from policymakers to the manufacturers and researchers. Something very interesting I find in this industry is that everybody is a scientist by nature. When I say scientist, one is by qualification or practice, or many of them they try and get into a lot of new molecules or new variants to work on. I am told that this is one segment where resistance generally doesn't happen as quickly as it happens in agrochemicals, because naturally microbes and other molecules will take care in the nature. Now, when you give such a huge perspective of BioAgri inputs, which is going to do so good, I would probably now request the President of BIPA, Dr. K.R.K. Reddy, how well, rather, what is the synchronization of BIPA with the vision given by Dr. John Peter? Yeah. What is the value addition BIPA is going to go give to this industry? Where do you feel that BIPA can connect all the strings and bring everybody into a single platform? Dr. John Peter spoke about networking, right? Whether it is an agrochemical company or whether it's a pure BioAgri inputs company, we can all be together and then increase the size of this, not just the industry, but in sustainable agriculture. So, Dr. K.R.K. Reddy, I would please request you to let the audience know that BIPA is founded in 2003, and what are its objectives? What is your short and long term times? Dr. K.R.K. Reddy, President of BIPA.
Yeah. Good evening, Raj, and good evening, panelists, and all the participants. So the number is slowly increasing, all the audience. And BIPA, yes, as mentioned, it is going to play a real good, vital role in promoting various BioAgri inputs in days to come. So as the stage is excellently set by Dr. John Peter, So in fact, actually, the agri input business, especially the biological agri input business, is at crossroads. So I will explain. Before that, the ideology of BIPA is to promote organic and biological inputs in agriculture to make agriculture sustainable. So we can't say no to chemicals, definitely. We need to go along with the chemicals. All bioagri inputs, maybe sometimes supplementary, sometimes complementary, go along with the chemicals. Therefore, the coexistence is very important. So with this background, we have established this BIPA, BioAgri Inputs Producers Association, at present based out of Hyderabad. It was established in 2003. You can see all the panelists here. All are founders of this BIPA. And if you see the unique feature, almost more than 20 years of experience, everyone is put up here. So in fact, actually, bioagri input business is not more than 2 decades in India. So therefore, all the panelists, all the founder members of BIPA are almost there right from the beginning of bioagricultural input production and marketing, sales, and from the concept wise. At the same time, if you see the panelists are the founder members, most of them are doctorates. They may be specialized in pheromones or specialized in biological agri inputs, specialized in organic inputs there. And everyone has 300 degrees, 60 degrees, 360 degrees of experience across, right from research, extension, production, sales, and marketing. Therefore, I feel this is the right panel to discuss about the future of bioagri inputs, the post-COVID. And coming to this, our BIPA, and definitely, as I mentioned, it is in crossroads, all agri input business. If you broadly classify bioagri inputs, as Dr. Peter mentioned, right from non-microbial and microbial. So non-microbial, most of them are organic. They are maybe the extracts of plant extracts, or maybe the microbial extracts, or living microorganisms, biofertilizers, biopesticides, semiochemicals like pheromones, and like seaweed extracts, humic acids, so on and so forth. There are so many. If you classify once again under regulatory things, we have only 2 acts at this moment. We have Fertilizer FCO, as well as now the Pesticide Management Bill, that is previously Insecticide Act. And broadly classified 2 products like biopesticides and biofertilizers, both are regulated, but not biostimulants, and maybe soon the Biostimulant Act also coming up. You touch upon any activity of all these 3, we have problems. We have registration problems with the biopesticides, likewise standards problems in FCO, and the biostimulants, as of now, we do not have any. There are hundreds of small and SMEs are there in this sector. And you know, the multinationals and also the other companies from other countries are coming into the country. And there are so many small and medium scale, and even big corporates are into this business. So, but the ray of the light is so distant. We don't find immediate solutions for all the problems. And every one of audience, maybe we have more than nearly 30 audience and also 7 or 8 panelists here. We know the current situation, what we are facing as a manufacturer. And at the same time, all the stakeholders, like maybe the researchers, or extension officers, dealers, or distributors, and even farmers, we do not have a perfect roadmap for bioagri inputs. And everyone is now interested. And every corporate, a chemical corporate company, medium or large or big, and they're all having biological being. It may be microbial or non-microbial. So to address all these problems, so we have set a real good platform where we can have one voice and one strategy and one action plan towards biological agri inputs. So we have set the objectives, as I said, popularizing the bioagri inputs across farming community, and take along all the stakeholders to popularize the concepts and products. And at the same time, we need to have a real policies and where which somebody can drive. So therefore, we really BIPA is requesting all the panelists and also all the participants and the agriculture fraternity, especially the business people or business owners, to come and join to formulate unique rules and regulations, as Dr. Peter said. It may be a fertilizer industry, pesticide industry, seed industry, or bio industry. So everyone, we are all serving agricultural community. Therefore, everyone is interested in biological agri inputs, and biological agri inputs are the real next course of what you call inputs, which can protect the farmer's interest as well as the feeding the future. So here, under BIPA, so we are now seriously mobilizing the membership, and we are requesting all the participants to become members, to raise voice, and also to make the policies which can favor the industry as well as the farming community. So we have two membership, premium membership and associate membership. And premium membership, mostly the bigger associations where they can become the life members, are the by paying some 27,000 rupees, and annual membership of 25,000. And associate member, it's a one time is 5,000 and annual is 10,000. When compared to any international and national association registration fees, these fees are very, very amicable, because we want all the small and medium manufacturers, or maybe the individuals who are interested, and even farmers also, they can join this campaign, and a campaign for popularizing the BioAgri inputs. And as I mentioned, this is the time where we can definitely influence the academia, research groups, and industry, and as well as the policy makers. So we can drive help all the stakeholders, especially those who are interested to join. They will be immensely benefited from the BIPA in terms of networking, as already Mr. Dr. Peter said, and also in the pricing policies, and production and processing, and setting up of laboratories, and also knowledge sharing and networking. So definitely, I hope BIPA is going to a flagship organization to promote biological agri inputs in this country. Not only that, those who are outside of this country, they can definitely benefit. Those who are wanted to enter into the country also can be benefited by joining the BIPA movement. So thank you, Raj. This is the open invitation to all the members and all the participants to join BIPA, to work collectively for the future of Indian agriculture. Thank you, Raj.
Thank you, Dr. K.R.K. Reddy, for highlighting BIPA's objectives and activities. And I am honored to be the executive director of BIPA. I request the audience who are watching this webinar, whoever is interested to become member of BIPA, please put your mobile number or email ID in the chat, so that we respond to your mails or phone numbers. Two things what Dr. K.R.K. Reddy has brought in is, one is probably while he was talking, he saw the number 30. It is 300 audience at this moment.
Oh, okay.
It's overwhelming response.
Sorry.
Yeah, and two, he mentioned 20 years minimum experience. Cumulative, it is more than 2 centuries, 200 years. Just to ensure that, Dr. Devanur 40, Dr. K.R.K. Reddy about 30, Dr. John Peter about 30, Lakshmi 40, Dr. Mohan was unable to join us about 40, Dr. Sundar about 25 probably. So it's 250, 300 years of experience. I'm sure your cumulative experience, Srinivas about 20 years, the cumulative experience put together will make BIPA a very stronger body, and others would benefit out of it. Thank you so much, Dr. K.R.K. Reddy. Audience, please feel free to write to us, or you can reply to your registration link which you have received for the details of BIPA. We'll respond to it. Now, moving on from the global scenario or overall scenario from Dr. John Peter to then BIPA. Before I move to supply chain management or exports or manufacturing or post-COVID, very critical thing, when something is thought of, a product is thought of, the first thing we ask as a consultant is that whom do you want to sell? When do you want to sell? Who is your target customer? So we have a range of products, not only range of products, a series of every solution, series for every problem, a solution for every problem, whether it is nutrition, whether it is physiology, whether it is protection, or whether it is soil or environment finally. Dr. Sudha Reddy,
Yes, thanks, sir.
you've been, I would say, a smart marketeer. You have, to begin with, you have sustained the challenges when you entered in this industry, and you have made not just KN Biosciences, but I see that a lot of people come to you to kind of understand that how did you make it big? How are you able to sustain the business and how are you able to grow? What you feel that BioAgri Inputs should be looked into in terms of sales and marketing?
Yes.
What are the ways and means to make this a viable proposition for the farming, that is farmer, the channel partners, and the industry? So, please.
Thank you, Raj, and good evening for all of you. So
Good evening.
Good evening. Let me tell about my journey of my 20 years and like how I was able to go to each and every farmer. So it was basically mine is basically a passion towards agriculture and make the farmers to get highest yield with the low investments. Like that, I met like lakhs of farmers in India, and then lots of trainings and timely supply, and we got the highest yields. That made me to go into the certification. That made me go into the testing. That made me go into the agri equipment. But when it comes to the sale, it is a very tough. There's a lack of awareness, and there's a root cause. There's a awareness is not there even for agriculture officers, not even the dealers, not even the farmers. Even today, I'm finding it's very difficult to go into the farmers. But I request all of us to play a role because one small virus has made the whole globe to go into the lockdown. That's the power of the microorganisms. That is what is the biofertilizers and biopesticides. The whole world went into the recession just because of one virus. So I request all these microorganisms plays a major role in the biofertilizers and biopesticides. But when it comes to regulation, what Peter said is true. The regulations is very tough to get it, especially in India. And instead of one microorganisms, my experience is the number of microorganisms played a major role, like blending Bavaria, Meteorizum, and consortiums gave a very good, but we don't have any regulations on that. And then the department doesn't have much knowledge about these microbes. When it comes to the marketing, yes, there is a good demand provided you have a hand holding with the farmers and dealers and give them a sustainable agriculture, train them, giving training for the farmers is the most important that should come. The education campaign should come from the government. Like today, central government has noted that 27 pesticides have been removed. And same way, the government also should give them a supportive mechanism like awareness, financial to the farmers, trainings to the farmers, dealers, especially dealers, and then we can grow this business like anything. Like now post-COVID, there is a lot of food problem will come because now most of us should concentrate basically on food, not on any other things. So now the agriculture should be the most and foremost important for the post-COVID marketing. I think there'll be a huge market, but provided there is a lack of shelf life, the limited shelf life, lack of awareness, and only the farmers are interested is immediately knocked down, which I think they can have a compatibility with a few chemicals, these microbes, and they get a better results. Now, this is the right time. There'll be a huge business, and the whole globe is looking for alternative to this. Even when it comes to cleaning the solutions, people are asking, they doesn't want chemicals, they want alternatives. So even the nature, now I'm also doing predators, biofertilizers, pheromones, so that the farmer should get a low budget farming, so that the most poorest person on the earth is a farmer. So how can we give them a low budget, high yields, better quality, and a better price? So this all should play a role, including government, including CSIR, everybody should play a role so that we can make this whole globe free from all these pathogens. Yeah, the bottleneck is of what is this risk? Limited shelf life, and there is a lot of exposure to the high temperatures, and dealers' acceptance is very less, especially in India.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sudha. Before I ask the next question to you, I have a couple of questions more. This is I just want to mention to the panelists and to the rest of the audience. This is only a draft which has come on 27 pesticides. Nothing on it. Hopefully, the world needs it more than world. India needs it. All the associations of AgChem industries at the individual capacity companies, they are representing to the government of India, because government of India has given 45 days time to respond. So it's only a draft thing. We don't find any, hopefully we don't find any major change coming in there. And it's a healthy debate that's raised so that companies and associations can respond to that bill. Not bill, sorry, notice. Now, little extension on sales and marketing. The channel is always there. But don't you feel that this is a segment where FPOs can play a critical role in case you want to approach FPOs and position your product? Or you feel that government support is very critical here, because government is one which would like to support this kind of initiatives, maybe through subsidies or direct supplies or stuff like that. So what is your intake on FPOs and direct supplies through the government to the farmer?
FPOs, again, it is again a group of farmers, and it depends on the leader who is leading the FPOs. After I've seen 200, 300 FPOs, I found that if the leader is good, the FPO is good. If the leader in that FPO is not good, that FPO is not, they cannot take it forward. So this plays a major role in the FPOs. And when it comes to the government, I think they have to come up with all education campaign for this, for the farmers, and then give some financial support to the farmers also, so that they'll come into this organic and biological inputs. And they should know what each and every microbes plays a role, like how Peter said, like nematodes, we have Plasmomyces, like that amazing products are there, which most of them doesn't know. So today, to know that, they should come off with the digitals, showing them videos and giving them hand-holding, especially to the farmers, because I have a repeated farmers. For decades, I have a repeated farmers. That shows that there is then something change in the biologicals.
Okay. Now, doctor, when you say, I think the BIPA has this mandate to educate the users and the corporates. So both your questions, probably not questions, sorry, apprehensions would be taken care by BIPA. One is FPOs. It's certainly leader plays a critical role everywhere. All of you are successful because you are successful leaders. So I think one of the mandates BIPA can look into is that how do we ensure that FPO teams are educated, spoken about the benefits.
The BIPA can play a role by talking to the government, talking to the corporates, and seeing that it has reached to the farmers. Correct. That is a role that BIPA can play globally. I'm not saying it's only India, because one virus, whole globe has knocked out. So now we cannot say it is my country, we can say it's a global today.
Excellent. So we'll see that how it is. Thank you, Dr. Sudha. Now I move on to Dr. Venkatesh Devanur. Dr. Devanur, the person who lives out of a suitcase globally. I envy you personally. Dr. Venkatesh, Dr. John explained the entire thing. Sudha has given the sales and marketing initiatives. From you, let us understand, what do you feel on overall scenario of bio inputs industry preparations now, that is post-COVID? Of course, you are still in COVID, but I prefer to use the word post-COVID than what was pre-COVID. How things have changed, because environment is one of the critical factors we are talking about. The second part is, of course, all of you are exposed, but you are a very active, not only participant in global BioAgri conferences and seminars, but you're also a speaker. You represent literally India in most of the places. What you feel that, what is the mood and preparation in the rest of the world in this segment? So these two things, can you take us, Dr. Devanur?
Thank you, Raj. Thanks for this opportunity for sharing my views with co-panelists and the audience. The first question is how the industry is coping with the post-COVID-19 situation. We are seeing in TV, reading in newspapers, millions of guest workers we call now. We don't call them as migrant labor. more dignified to be called as guest workers, coming from one part of country to Punjab, Haryana, South, going back, walking all over. Imagine states like Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, these are the guest workers who used to do the farming, transplantation, harvesting, etc. Now, post-COVID, we surely cannot expect these millions to come back immediately. So agricultural practices will undergo a drastic change. For example, rice. Our gene DNA factor of thinking rice means it has to be in the wetland, what you call paddy rice lands. We forgot one basic thing. Paddy rice can be grown in submerged water. It's not that rice needs submerged water. It can be grown like wheat, can be grown like maize, equal crop. But somehow farmers understood for ages it needs submerged water and transplantation and the labor. Now this COVID-19 teaches us, and this preferably will, why not go for cereal cultivation? Dry land, upland, direct sowing of rice. See, imagine millions of labor not coming in, millions of hectares to be farming. This post-COVID situation will change, certainly farmers will change the practice of how a traditional agriculture ought to be doing in a particular way. They are able to change, and change is for good. Like this, for example, you take the food. We always said what we are is what we eat, basically, or what we eat, we become what we are. Now, post-COVID or during COVID now, most of the people are aware that if the immunity system is good, whether it's COVID or AIDS or similar, viruses do not adversely affect. That means the realization now is how to increase immunity. Now, every farm will grow, paying grower, paying customer for food, feed, fodder. They know there is certain elements of pesticides coming in the food chain. Therefore, these pesticide residues are getting into our system and bringing down our immunity levels. Once immunity comes down, automatically COVID-19 or any other virus will take over. Now the responsibility of farmer is to understand, and we as industry to understand, consumer is demanding and will demand more clean food. Clean food means as much possible pesticide residue free food. Therefore, abuse, overuse of toxic chemicals will be coming down. And definitely the use of BioAgri inputs, like our esteemed co-panelists explained to all of you, which is biofertilizers, biopesticides, and biostimulants. These three we call BioAgri inputs. I'm sure this gels well in the IPM practice, where judicious use of green chemistry products and microbial products, botanical products, natural products will gel well, and this will become a new IPM, and that will give clean food, quality food, help people at large to increase the immunity level. Post-COVID, I'm sure there'll be a lot of talk on how to eat, what to eat. This kind of subject will be impacting our business. Second question you're asking is, how is the mood of and preparation of the rest of the world for this segment? As my distinguished friend Dr. Peter explained, we are in about $6 billion industry market. That is pesticides, biopesticides, biofertilizers, and biostimulants. Imagine, it will be very surprising to many of you to note one thing. US Patent Office granted patent for rhizobium 102 years ago. 102 years ago, US Patent Office granted rhizobium patent. And after 1950s, when industrial agriculture, petroleum chemical driven, residue driven agriculture monocropping, industry all started. We forgot the whole history and then went to DDT agriculture, or other whatever we call it. Now we have realized soil health is very important, and this $6 billion industry is now going to be growing at 10, 11, 12% growth rate. Therefore, a lot of mainstream companies have come to this. Today, you need $400 to $500 million and 10 years time to bring in a new chemistry product. It's not going to be easy and doesn't pay well. Therefore, mergers, acquisitions happening all over. So R&D budget getting streamlined, product portfolio getting streamlined. And best thing, one thing good happening, the mainstream company like Bayer, Syngenta, Corteva, FMC, all of them are now talking on biologicals. The mainstream companies talk, customers, value chain, distribution network, supply chain, all tend to believe more. Therefore, it's a good sign that these mainstream companies have a dedicated team for R&D, product portfolio improvement, and the market is now asking, and economically, balance sheet wise also, as I said, biologicals are certainly far more, beneficial from the manufacturer's point of view, user point of view, environmental point of view. Therefore, the global interest is very keen on these BioAgri inputs. And India is going to be a huge resource center. Like IT, we have a big base. I'm sure we have a huge, advantage, demographic benefit advantage we have got. Huge educated manpower, women power, machine power, whatever you call it, we have got it. And we have our experience. Today, we are only country, or one of the few countries where we BioAgri inputs, Raj, almost 6% of the market we have in India. Globally, 1-2%. So our Indian farmer generally has been using a lot of such products. Therefore, I feel this is going to be a good, beginning for adoption of this technology. Thank you very much, Raj. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Venkatesh, for taking us thing. Yes, immunology is one point you touched very well. I think this bio inputs will help it to a great extent, whether it is soil, whether it is plant, or the air, the environment, including water, to help in a huge build immunology. I have one. I call it as a critical question to you, because it's also based on various experiences from the farmers and the industry. Little tricky question. How about cost-benefit ratio compared to the chemical inputs? Dr. Devanur.
Can I answer? It's a very good question. Every farmer asks us every day. No, it's a very interesting thing also. For example, nitrogen fixing bacteria, just 3 to 4 kilos per acre. If consumer pays 50 rupees per kilo, how much is paying? 150 rupees is paying, or he's paying per acre. In that 50 rupees per kilo, believe me, retailer, distributor, all of us will be happy in profits. Look back that benefit here. It can fix in a good non-toxic soil about 20 kilograms of nitrogen per acre. It means about one basta, one bori, one bag of urea, which is costing 300 rupees to farmer's pocket. But Madam Nirmala Sitharaman has to shell out another 350 rupees from her exchequer. That is 1 lakh crore subsidy. Finally using what? As fossil fuel. Mind you, on the sky, 1 hectare land of cylindrical air, 1,200 tons of nitrogen are nature has given. Put this bacteria, they pull down. We're talking 240 truckloads of urea staying there. Therefore, cost-benefit ratio, extremely benefit of farmer, benefit of the industry, and more so for environment and our government.
Okay, now I would probably add, it's not only the quick benefit you're talking about, but we also spoke about two things, immunity and sustainability. So it is immediate gain and long-term gain. So once you have immunity built in the crop or the soil or the area, so that means your usage also over a period of time comes down.
Perfect.
Right?
You're right.
Correct me. Yeah. Is it the right way, doctor?
That is why the IPM, INM, integrated crop pest nutrient management is all to optimize, harness the best benefits. Yes, you are right, sir.
Great, great. Makes sense.
Even customers should have awareness to this.
Dr. Sudha.
Even the organic food customers should have awareness about this food, organic food.
Yes.
The awareness should come even from the customers so that farmers will be.
Yeah, okay. Probably now that tempts me to ask you a question, since you use the word organic. In sales and marketing or to make the product available, I think this is one of the very good avenues for BioAgri input industry beyond the organic cultivation. There are a lot of institutions in the country, companies who are organic produce. So probably input industry can approach them. Now moving to supply chain management challenges, and the person who knows better than Srinivas. Mr. Srinivas, he is by education, he is an engineer, a civil engineer that too, and he has studied from MIT, Manipur Institute of Technology. And because of his passion to agri, he moved to agri business. Mr. Srinivas, one of the things people keep asking, rather I would say, from the channel point of view, because at the end of the day we all approach channel, the dealer, the distributor, the person who helps us to sell our product to the farmer. When you take a product to him, BioAgri Inputs product, the moment you wants to place a product, a brand, the first reaction from him would be, like he asked this typical question, even for the AgChem industry. You take a product to him, he said, sir, what's a shelf life? So one of the challenges we hear is that, since the shelf life of BioAgri inputs is not as high as AgChem products, how do you facilitate this to ensure that it reaches the channel and then to the farmer? Srinivas garu.
Yeah, good evening, Raj. Thank you very much. And thank you all the participants and the panelists. You asked me a good question. The first question is BioAgri inputs. It doesn't mean only biologicals. Now all the speakers have spoken about botanicals, biostimulant, and biofertilizers. The most constraint and the shelf life problem is coming only with biologicals, because its shelf life is very less and they are made to order. And in a country like India, where the temperatures are very high compared to other eastern countries, except some of our eastern parts, where Dr. John Peter is already there and he's selling his biologicals or to the government and the Department of Agriculture. Here, the most important part is the problem is only at the manufacturing level. If we have a cold room at the manufacturing level, our product is safe. But it cannot be controlled at the dealer level or the farmer level. And when Dr. John Peter was telling about the biological share is only 10% of the total sale of the product. So you have an alternate of biostimulant and biofertilizer also. So what I feel is, along with botanicals, biofertilizer and biostimulants are encouraged, the problem of logistics and the sale of BioAgri inputs will be beneficial for the farmers and for the dealers. And one more important part is, when any manufacturer of biologicals is there, they have to be very careful about the shelf life of the product at the time of sampling. The spore count at the last day, say if it is 6 months and it is 10 to the power 6, we should be careful that the result it should give is 10 to the power 6. That is a critical part, where all the manufacturers have to be careful there. In the rest of other parts, there's no problem. And if you start promoting biostimulants and fertilizers, where the soil conditioners, then the soil is no more dead with the chemicals which has been sprayed. Yes, sir. That was one question you asked me. Can you hear me?
I'm just coming in. What I want to know is, suppose if the shelf life of agri input, bio-agri input is 1 year, generally it is. Earlier it was 6 months, we could make it 1 year, later we will go up. Typical in Indian conditions, you have 2 crops, Kharif and Rabi. How do you ensure, as Dr. Reddy, even you can answer, or anyone of you, how do you ensure that this product is liquidated, used on the ground, on the crop within the same season? What are the efforts an individual company should do to achieve this? Dr. Reddy, unmute your thing.
Yeah. So now, if you look at the whole bio inputs, agri bio inputs, as I said, there are 3 or 4 types once again. So organic inputs, like they're all derived from the organic sources like seaweeds, humic acids, and other extracts, plant extracts or microbial extracts, where you can find more shelf life, like 2 years and 3 years. But as far as microbials are concerned, the shelf life is limited. Being a living organisms, and also the spores and other things, and based on the formulations, the temperatures and storage conditions, is vulnerable to the temperature and also the humidity and other factors. So, but it all depends upon the formulations of individual companies. So what kind of formulations they are using, and the kind of packing, and also transportation, and the storage. So therefore, definitely we need to sensitize all the stakeholders once again, supply chain management. As actually what you put the question, the supply chain management is a critical in terms of microbial bioinputs. So as far as non-microbials are concerned, as of now, I think we don't see any problem. But microbials, still there is a problem. It all depends upon the manufacturer, how utmost care he takes. So while formulating and packing. But generally, I think most of the microbial products, the shelf life is 12 months plus.
Okay, again, this is. Take AgChem industry, for example. Earlier, farmers used to have a tank mix of more than, even now they do, more than 1 chemical, 2 pesticides, 3 pesticides in the tank mix, and then spray or use it on the crop. One of the apprehensions, again, not apprehensions, but actually is a fact that, microbials or bioagri input, especially microbials or the living organisms, should not be used along with the tank mix. Is there a way out where we encourage farmers to use an alternate way? Because farmers are used to for a tank mix. Yeah, Lakshmi, you want to say? Yes, please.
I think there are certain misnomers. I will just go to the earlier point also. I want to just make a point. All microbial products are not very sensitive to shelf life. If you see the BTs, the shelf life is 3.5 years. And in India, they're not accepting beyond 2 years. There are certain things like that also. So let us see, the formulation is critical, like as Dr. Reddy has very clearly mentioned. The formulation can be improved better and get the a better shelf life and other things. Okay, coming back to your this thing, I mean, whether we can add it as a tank mix. When we do as a tank mix, see, if you are using a bacterial culture into a bactericide, then only it affects. Otherwise, it is free to use. Similarly, if you are using a fungal cultures and you tank mix with a fungicide, then it is a problem. So you have to be careful about that part, and that can go on easily.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen. When we have so much opportunities, one of the things which we are called, we have a project called Make in India, but not necessarily sell in India. So does this industry give an opportunity for the forex? the exports looks bright. Lakshmi, I know that you've been working the global scenario with your products. What is the current scenario in terms of exports of these products? And where do you feel that in the next maybe couple of years or 3 years from now, we can reach? I'm sure we are at a global standards, but what is the acceptance at the global level from Indian manufacturers?
Yeah.
Lakshmi, to you.
Yes. I would like to set the tone in a proper way, saying that, I mean, we have all seen what the contribution from India to the global level in IT are into the pharmaceutical. We have become the capital of pharmaceutical industry. We have become the IT for the whole globe. If we consider IT is India today, we consider bio or biotechnology will be the Bharat tomorrow. So that is the kind of a tone we would like to set for before we talk to the export. Yes, export earnings, as you rightly said, is a very good possibility from India, provided we look at making everything in international standard. See, you should have the ISOs, you do the good manufacturing GMP, good manufacturing facilities. So we need to have that kind of a thing. All our data should be on the GLP data so that it is useful for our regulatory and coming back to the earnings. There are two types of earnings you can do in exports. One is directly selling the product or exporting the product to various countries. That is where you encounter all kinds of regulatory issues and other things, which we need to address it anyway. Except for Europe, we have most of the countries accept our dossiers from India. And fortunately, in US FDA, USDA clears our, US EPA clears our products very, with the simpler requirements. So exports are really good. Then we are also, again, one thing we need to keep in mind, that is a knowledge-based industry. The knowledge-based industry develops technologies, develops a good product base. Now these technologies can be sourced or serviced to various parts of the world, and we can have a licensing facilities and other things. That also is a very good earning. And maybe we get a license as a strategic alliance partners into India, and our facilities can be used as we generally see in the part of the pharmaceutical industry, where under that license, we can do the toll manufacturing to the standards and export. Yes, the first question is done.
Yeah, I think good. I mean, that gives hopes for especially research-based organizations who are putting their money into R&D and maybe manufacturing facilities they have expanded. They can balance with both domestic as well as exports. And who doesn't want to earn in dollars? That's something big. I think we have heard from all of you. I have few questions which have come from the audiences. So I'm not too sure whom should I be. Well, I leave the forum open. Any one of you who feels that you can answer this, I would like to say. Dr. John Peter, I think you have been responding to most of the chat. So happy.
Raj,
yes.
Lakshmi is supposed to talk on some other topic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes. Lakshmi, you need to express something more. Please go ahead.
I thought you have some more questions on the exports.
Yeah, I think we have looked into that. Which are the countries we spoke about the opportunities? And you have something to add in your own, you can please, next 1 minute. We are happy that we have extended beyond an hour, but audience are intact, so we can continue for a little.
Up to you as an organizer, you tell me what you want me to do.
Yeah, I think as of now it's fair enough. We will see what kind of, okay, let me put one specific question. If you take some specific continents or geographies, which are the products you feel India can export?
Yeah, the largest selling pesticide, biopesticide in the world is BTs, basically.
Okay.
And we had a lot of competition because the Chinese were giving a very competitive price. Post-COVID, there would be a situation where preference of buying from China may be little a challenge. Most of the countries may be willing to buy from India too. So in that kind of a scenario, we will be at an advantage on production on a license basis. Our biopesticide industry from here, we have export licenses for the BTs, both for the public health as well as the agriculture, that is BTK and BTI. So that can be a very big export. And also again in the insect pheromones, which has the active ingredients, trap and cure systems, and also the specialized formulations and which can be exported from India. We are taking a giant leap in that kind of a segments, and the technology exports we have done with bioherbicides for the first time in the world. It's a global product, and Indian companies, I'm very proud to say India is also growing up. We have protected this totally very perfectly, right from IPs. We have in 14 countries and about 24 IPs, we have patents. Then we started working with registering the dossiers, and for registration work, we have started the dossiers for toxicology data generation in OECD protocols by GLP labs. And we've also started work on various other kinds of protections, including biodiversity board. And we also own the strains. These are the very critical things for the Indian bio industry to protect their strains in such a way so that they have a global negotiation, global platform. Thank you very much.
Great. This is something new. Yes, Dr. Devanur, I was coming to you for another question, but you can express, then I'll come back to the question.
Yeah.
India is one of the countries who is signatory for the biodiversity protocol. In biodiversity protocol, the benefit of the, it's called legal access to genetic resources. The benefit has to go to the habitat from where we take the strain out of it. India has a very well-developed National Biodiversity Act. Each state has a biodiversity board. We signed the access benefit sharing agreement and pay royalty to the habitat. It's a very well-developed system, and this basically is a prerequisite for owning any bacteria or a fungus or a microbe. And after that, we deposit in Budapest Treaty recognized depository, get a strain number. This one strain number we take it, that's like a passport. It has got a gene sequencing, everything has been given to get a strain number. This denotes we are legal owners of the strain, and the benefit go to the habitat. These very few countries in the world have this well-developed system, and we have this great India legal advantage, I call it basically. We have a system advantage, and because of that, our products are very well accepted. To the example, government is also supporting us. We got the Star Export House status about 4 years ago. Probably a pure bio player, we got the first Star Export House. There's a lot of encouragement is there, and one biggest thing, Raj, chemicals, 21,000 crore pesticides are exported from India. Every company has a good satisfied customer asking, do you have something bio? We network. BIPA comes to picture, our association members, everybody comes with picture. We all collaborate, integrate, and then disseminate. Look, we have a good base here. We can all help together. That way, export is going to be a major growth factor. Thank you.
Yeah, Doctor, as I said, I had a question for you. I know that you have a JV with Pabbathi. That tempts me to ask, will the JVs work in this industry and to what extent? Anyone of you?
25 years ago, if you recall the automobile industry, every motorbike, TVS, Suzuki, Hero, Honda, Bajaj, Kawasaki, okay, then DCM, Mitsubishi, Eicher, Mitsubishi. Without that JV, these big companies never came to India. Today, having learned both, Hero is world's largest motorcycle manufacturer. Honda alone is happy to be selling the Activa here. So our experience with this joint ventures is we learn a lot from these kind of good companies. They learn a lot from how to produce the product at a very good cost arbitrage with a high technical skill also here. This, I think, the way forward is how to establish this kind of linkages with all the multinationals and other foreign companies, that we get a big marketing advantage. We can start today with good quality production. You leverage out the marketing over 5, 10, 15, 20-year period. As I said, today automobiles, everybody is independent. You can become.
Great, Doctor. I think that's a huge opportunity for us. And again, as BIPA, we are into networking. We can exploit this opportunity. So Dr. John, you wanted to speak something?
Yeah, coming back to Dr. Lakshmi's shelf life one, there are several questions in the panel or discussion also about the shelf life. What I want to impress upon about the shelf life is, if the spore producing microbes are there, our shelf life is reasonably stable. And what Dr. Lakshmi was telling is about the spore as well as the delta endotoxins. So whatever he says, 3.5 years, 4 years, they are all true. But the spore formulations are one, and the non-spore formulations, that is the challenge. So even CAB, sometimes they give for 4 months, 6 months at the initial days when we are developing the data package and submit for 18 months, they give it for 12 months. So the key is the non-spore producing formulations are the key in the shelf life. So this is one. The other questions, if you are, I have noted down some of the questions of the panel. So you can go ahead if you have noted down so that we will answer one by one.
Yeah, I know. I mean, thanks. You've been proactively responding to most of the chats in the thing. The audience is very happy with your responses, Dr. John. Few things which I noted during the questions or the chats is, which is practical thing. In stability, one of the chats we noticed, which has come from Ashok Riyappa, is there an alternate way or improved way in supply chain management of delivery system? I mean, like maybe he's thinking like if milk perishable can be delivered across anywhere in the country with cold storages. Is there a way, you know, like I remember last year when we wanted to send something from Hyderabad to Punjab in this weather with 47, 45 degrees temperature. We were not sure if the microbials will withstand these temperatures, and when they are delivered, will they be viable? So is there an alternate method of transportation or delivery system or storage system at the channel level? Because you see at the channel, they combine both agrochemicals and everything, they put in the same stacking. So how do we improve this? If there is a way, otherwise is a question or is an idea where we can look into in the future.
The idea is like how they put the Pepsi bottles and all those, we have to put a separate...
yes, stacking separately. Yes, Dr. John, you wanted to say something.
Another thing is this kind of what is the question?
Is there a way to deliver differently?
Yeah, there are different formulations available, but the problem is it will not be cost effective for the expected price in the Indian market. So we can have the formulation stable for even 2 years, 3 years also, but there are bottleneck on pricing. That's the thing from my side, and others also can comment on it.
Dr. Reddy, I think Dr. K.R.K. Reddy, you want to add something? Unmute, yeah.
See, all products may not be stored or may not be transported. Yes, certainly there are certain formulations like freeze drying formulations or spray drying formulations, encapsulated formulations. Those things can be, yes, they can be concentrate formulations we can store and transport long distances. Definitely, as Dr. Peter said, a bit cost.
Okay.
Otherwise, general formulations, see, widely accepted formulations are like granules or talc-based formulations, widely accepted and widely produced. But it is only for the localized, and also the shelf life is very less. And as you said in the beginning, it is like a seasonal base. If at all, that was actually we must encourage the small regional producers for biological inputs. And definitely the big corporates, they invest on infrastructure and they can produce like the formulations like freeze drying and also other formulations. So we can have both the sides, both, I mean, at the low cost formulations and also the high cost formulations. Shelf life, as Lakshmi said, yes, definitely, as Dr. Peter said, we have just organisms in the vegetative phase, organisms of in sporulation, non-sporulation, like that. There is a difference in process and production.
Maybe one of the methods we can look into is that direct delivery to the farmers. I think Dr. Sudha Reddy is quite doing this in a big way. And now you have institutions, maybe retail stores like Managrover, eFresh, and then you have an AgroStar in Pune, where delivery happens to the farmers directly. So that could be looked into. Now, one of the opportunities I see for Agri Inputs in two-factored one for the seed industry. One of the challenges, of course, the pesticide-treated seed for fungus and the insects predominantly. Without seed treatment, many of the states have said that you cannot sell the seed. So that is one opportunity as a protectant I'm looking for. But I feel there's a much bigger market. Like one of the challenges a farmer faces is about the seed germination, the viability of the seed. So is there a way where, biostimulants can play a role in the seed treatment industry?
Yes.
With the stability? Yes, Dr. Sudha.
Yes, there's a lot of demand on this biological seed treatment also. Now the globe is looking for alternative for seed treatment. They keep on calling me and asking me what is the alternative other than the chemicals. I think future is of biological seed treatment is going to be a big business.
I mean, just out of curiosity, do we have a couple of products right
yes,
now with us? So
yes,
you are commercializing them with the industry, seed industry?
Yes, exactly.
Great. We'll share it probably a little later so that it will be very useful for the rest of the industry. Now, see, the bigger challenges, we have COVID-19 as a virus, but last, at least I think half a decade, if not more, entire agri industry, especially the vegetable segment, is struggling with virus in tomatoes, okra, especially capsicum. Can BioAgri input industry, through the protectants, come to the rescue of these farmers? And please be, if any one of you or anybody else in the industry has got a product, we would be happy to share for the benefit of the farmers. Is there any solution for this? Because one of the questions which has repeatedly been asked with the audience. How to tackle virus in vegetables, especially okra, brinjal, capsicum especially. Yes, Dr. Devanur.
See, conventional microbials or botanicals are difficult. Virus, after it enters into a cell, there's no way which we know which can control. But vectors transfer the virus from plant to plant. And about 4 or 5% of the land, when it gets attacked with leaf curl or any symptom, farmers can resort to spray. Example, nano silver. Nano silver is a proven antiviral product, along with a systemic insecticide. If they spray it, then in the next couple of days' time, when the vectors transfer the virus, this nano silver can attenuate or denature the protein. This is one practical approach which is possible.
Yes, once if you spray even hydrogen peroxide and spray this biologicals, will get a better results.
Dr. Sudha, can you come again? Sorry.
Yeah, if you spray biologicals, we might not get immediate result. But initially, if you spray hydrogen peroxide and then spray this biologicals, they're getting very good results.
Fair enough. Okay. We have few questions coming in. I was trying to see if I can take Mr. C.S. Leave from Pacific Agri Science Singapore. He's been very active and he attends all our webinars. He also has a Indo-China joint programs. Can you correct to Dr. C.S. Leave?
Just give me a minute. I'm just Mr. C.S. Liu can talk now. I've unmuted him.
Hello, Mr. Liu.
Hello, hi. Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yes. Hi, Liu. How are you?
Okay, I'm good. I'm fine.
Great. Go ahead. Shoot your question.
No, I don't really have questions. More
or suggestion.
My comments and suggestions. You know, like I just posted in the chat that for Indian products, bio input products to gain market share overseas or internationally, you not need only a quality product with the right shelf life, but you also need to collaborate with reputable international players, you know, to gain confidence, to gain a good reputation overseas. Because there's so many products in the marketplace, even in the global marketplace, there's just too many products. And the industry is still facing growing pains, as I said, you know, because reputation is a problem. You know, some products don't really work that well, and some products are spurious in nature, contaminated with chemical substances. So all in all, it's a very difficult industry, but the prospects are very bright because there's intense pressure on chemical inputs, especially in the EU. There's already talk of cutting chemical inputs by half by the year 2030. And there's also a group that's very active trying to eliminate all chemical pesticides used in Europe. Of course, that's not going to happen. But even if they gain some success, it simply means a lot of chemical inputs will be out of the marketplace. That means a huge growth prospect for BioAg inputs. So, like I said, prospects are excellent, but you need to make sure you have good regulatory regime in place to regulate the industry so it doesn't relegate itself to a snake oil industry, as I said earlier in my posting, right? So these things must be put in place before you can really gain good market share overseas, all right? So that's my 2 cents of input, okay?
Thanks, Liv. Thank you so much. Let me, you have something to speak, Lakshmi? Respond?
No, I just wanted to wave. Hi, CS.
Yeah. Yeah, now we have Abhay from Dayal Fertilizers. Let me see if he's there. Abhay, can you raise your thing?
Abhay also wanted a membership. He has communicated.
Yes. Abhay, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Abhay, go ahead.
Hi, Lakshmi. Hi, Venkatesh.
Welcome, sir.
How are you?
Two people have been known for all these 20 years, maybe more.
More
well, we are
93.
93. That's 27 years. Yeah. So 27. We are a micronutrient company, basically. You know, zinc and the other micronutrients, but we also do bio as a hobby, kind of. And but now, recently, my daughter has joined me, and she is very keen to, you know, work with bio products. And you guys saw that, you know, the Param@Dal Group, that is the brand we have, and we are into all kinds of things. Biofertilizers, biopesticides, and pheromone traps and things like that. And we are mostly marketing stuff. And so that's why we wrote that we would be interested in collaborating with people, because we feel that mostly in South India, it's very focused in Hyderabad and, you know, other states. But North India is not used so much. And we have a very extensive network of dealers, distributors across North India and Central India. So we will be happy to collaborate with people. We do work with Lakshmi and Venkatesh, but not so much. But now I think I've introduced my daughter to them, and then we'll probably do better business with more focus.
Welcome,
And, yeah, and I had a question. You talked about biostimulants being covered under FCO. So how much, how far is that? I mean, is it soon or going to take long? Because we do a lot of plant growth promoters and PGRs also. Yeah, Venkatesh wants to say something.
Sir, there was a lot of lobbying from certain parts of industry to regulate biostimulants. Last year, initially, it went to CIB. Central Insecticide Board was supposed to come out with draft guidelines. And indeed, they met certain parts of the industry, came out with some draft guidelines. Thereafter, for some reason, is moved to now fertilizer regulation. Presently, what we understand, FCO will be amended to include biostimulants, and the draft guidelines will have to come out from that. But the earlier guideline which they circulated had about tox package for 6 acute tox package, 4 university trials at 4 locations, like a biopesticide. But we do not have a final draft now from the FCO. We do expect probably next year to have the guidelines for biostimulants. I think once we have it, then we can interact better and see how we can convince the concerned authorities amicably.
Good. Good. Thank you. Thank you. I had a question from for the association, from Mr. Raj Kumar, that there are other associations like BASAI, and also do we work together or they are separate associations?
Over to President.
Yeah. Yes, actually, in fact, we are in touch with BASAI, and so recently we formed a group also with BIPA, BASAI, and other Maharashtra-based associations. Certainly, we are going to work for the cause. So at present, of course, BIPA is one of the oldest BioAgri association in the country, and of course, we are mostly confined to South, as mentioned. And certainly we are going to have a kind of a confederation of all the BioAgri input producers associations.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, just to add to the President's note, Dr. K.R. Reddy's note, I think since about 3 months, when it comes to representation at the central level, all the associations jointly together, they're representing on BioAgri inputs issues with the central government. And it's not just about BioAgri input associations, but there are other associations included, like PMFI is also part of this. Dr. Devanur had an opportunity to present on behalf of the entire thing. Dr. K.R. Reddy has taken something. BIPA has taken a leadership role in such a way that it is trying to bring everybody into the same platform and representing the community to the stakeholders, so that everybody gets benefited. Is that okay?
We call it as unified voice.
Yeah, unified.
We present the ministry unified voice, and we write down all association names, try to go together and present a unified face to the regulatory authorities.
Yes. Yeah, I think that answers your thing.
Yeah, that certainly explains.
Yeah, we'll be in touch and let's do something.
There was a conference in Delhi a couple of months ago, and which was organized by BASAI. So we happened to be, present there. So that's why I asked that. It's always better that different associations work together, especially in fields like bio, which is a nascent field, kind of, in spite of being told.
Very true.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, I think we lost track of time with so much involvement. We are 1 hour 40 minutes in the session, but I see the interest is still intact. But we need to quit. Thank you so much, panelists. And the audience, awesome audience once again today.
Raj, one last comment.
Please.
So I request to all the members and the participants to join hands with BIPA and welcome you all. And please go through our website, bipaindia.org, where you will find our membership details and also the form. Kindly download and submit. And we are collectively serve the farming community of this country. Thank you so much.
Anybody else, any panelists would like to, if we have missed something, would like to add for the benefit of the audience?
Thank you very much, all the participants on behalf of BIPA. And the Agri Input, Bio Input, marketing, manufacturing, everything is challenge. It's a challenge. But we all know well, there are several impediments, several challenges. All of not only the regulation part, the in the mobilization, logistics, marketing, promotions, all those things. Partly, we also feel this as our opportunity to serve the society. In case if we reduce 5 to 10% of the toxic ingredients in the environment, then we are very successful. And like that only we are doing business. Thank you very much for all the participating, your patient listening. Thank you.
Dr. Sudha?
Yeah, thanks for this, especially to Raj and my panelists and all the people who are listening so patiently. And I want all of you to join together so that we can make one voice, like what Dr. Venkatesh said, and the social responsibility, like CSR, like what Dr. Peter said. So I think we can make a global change. Let us not talk about India, we'll make a global change. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Anybody else? Srinivas Garu? Unmute, please. Unmute. Unmute your thing.
So some questions are not answered, but in course of time, definitely we'll
answer. Yeah, I have written in the chat, but all of you, yeah, you can write to me, ed @BIPA India, BIPAINDIA India.org. So we'll respond to your mails. We'll respond. We'll ensure that in 24 hours you'll get a reply. That's our commitment. So
yes.
Thank you so much. Once again, panelists, you've been an awesome panelist. 300 years of experience coming together on a single platform. That shows the strength of India's BioAgri Inputs capability. And audience, thank you for joining on a weekend. Hopefully you were with your cup of tea and the samosas made at home. Yeah. Thank you so much. See you. Hopefully tomorrow is Eid. If not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. We wish all the audience and rest of the country and rest of the world, our brethren across the globe, a very happy Eid.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you.